I'll film my phone and welcome to another video. Today we're getting into Madonna, back by popular demand. I saw that y'all really liked the American Life music video reaction and I really enjoyed making it. It took me a while for it to come out. I don't know, I had a weird string of seasonal depression plus regular depression and just trying to figure out whether making a long form video or a short form video was going to be best. And I was happy to put that in as like almost a filler week pretty much for me, and it was great to see y'all love it. With that in mind, I am going to be getting into my first Madonna full album reaction. I have listened to Madam X and Rebel Heart in full. I don't remember either of them that much, except for I remember I liked Rebel Heart a lot more than Madam X, but maybe with new ears I might like either of them more or less. Who knows? I don't. But today I wanted to get into one that I have gotten requested to do before, as well as an album that of Madonna's catalog is the one I'm most interested in listening to, and that's Confessions on a Dance Floor, because I heard it paved the way for stuff like Future Nostalgia and other quintessential pop records, and it's one that's generally overlooked because it came out so late in Madonna's album cycle. I believe it's the one also that came out right after the American Life album, which, based on your feedback from the reaction I did to the song and music video for the title track on, I might want to get into that one next because I think that one would be really interesting. But I've had a little bit of a stressful time and the world is a little bit chaotic and bad right now. I don't really want to get into politics tonight, personally. I want to get into a more of a album that I think would be fun because it's Confessions on a Dance Floor. The confessions might be serious, but it's on a dance floor, so I'm hoping that we'll at least get to bop through any sorrow or tragedy that we encounter. We got 12 songs. I'm not going to look up lyrics or do much analysis because, first of all, I hope that with a dance album it's not that complicated, and also because it's a pretty decently long album, so I do want to get through it and not feel like I'm just getting a bunch of fatigue. Thank you for requesting this video. Anyway, let's get into it. I also believe I've never heard any of these songs before, so without further ado, track number 1 is Hung Up. It's like a ticking noise. Time goes by. Oh, the time is going by slowly. Okay, the vibe's a repetition. Wait, this sounds like Gimme 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 from ABBA. Guess they are giving Future Nostalgia. Okay, it's a little bit dance clubby more than the original. Even though the original still definitely functions as a club. I'm hung up on you. Time goes by so slowly. Oh, this feels like the gimme 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 part. Oh, I'm hanging up on you. I feel like some remixers have made a mashup of the two songs. This is also giving a little bit of Jessie Ware, where it's letting us feel the music and just dance to it. I don't know what to do. Me neither. I'm hung up on you. So that was Hung Up, and alright. I didn't realize it really is kind of Future Nostalgia where you're taking old sounds and bringing them to the forefront now. She really did this before it was popular in music. Yeah, there wasn't a lot in the 2000s. This was 2005. There wasn't a lot then, at least to my knowledge, that really felt like taking it back to earlier times. Yeah. No, I feel like there wasn't a lot of that. So I commend her on being original in that sense. Not original, obviously, in the sense of, yeah, you took some stuff from a much more well-known song. Although it looks like it's at 300 million now? That's insane on Spotify. I am thinking about one of my most hated songs as of late, which is I'm Good from Bebe Rexha and David Guetta. I don't hate them as much on it because, you know, the fans asked for it because they discovered this old snippet and they wanted them to finish the song, and the label was like, that's an easy move for you to do, so you're gonna do it. I understand that, but I think I'm just disappointed in the whole world's culture on that. The lyrics are not that deep, and you're basically ripping off the old song. And that song on Spotify is doing really well. It's a over 900 million right now. It's nearly into the billions club. And the Blue Dabba Dee is not there. It's about halfway to a billion, but one's a much newer song, so it's much more likely to get there. So I'm not going to curse Madonna with it. I feel like this one does a little bit more. I don't think it's as neatly integrated as Future Nostalgia makes it to be. I feel like the iterations in Future Nostalgia are a lot more, just more inspired rather than very much taking parts of it. It definitely feels like a unique song. If you say you got this flute solo or this little violin from something, yeah, but that was also a little more obscure stuff. And yeah, not a very well-known song. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm in the community and know ABBA at least a little bit. Knowing Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man After Midnight. I think it's the fact that the sound that they took from it, the like all of that is very much without lyrics in the original. Like they have their lyrics during other parts, and that part is the instrumental during the in-between. And here it is during the chorus. So because it's such a very distinct melody to happen, I really don't pay attention to much to the lyrics. I know she just like hung up on this person and she realizes that she's going to hang up on them. Basically, that she's over it. She just wants to enjoy the dance floor. Honestly, fair. Yeah, we all come to the club with our own struggles that we're going through. And hers just might be with the relationship. But yeah, I like this song. I'll probably listen to it. But for me, this one didn't transform it near enough for me to think of it as a unique song. To me, it actually feels like if you took these lyrics from some Madonna song that I just don't know and you remixed it with Gimme Gimme. It doesn't feel like it was made like that, if that makes sense. Though, of course, Madonna's always ahead of the trend, so I do have to applaud her on making this about 15 years before it became much more widespread. Track number 2 is Get Together. Feels a little more subdued. Oh, it feels like it's building. Where are we building to? Oh. Okay. It's very blurry and glitchy. Okay. There's a bass. Too much confusion, come on over. Wait, I definitely know this song this is inspired by. Do you believe I can make you feel better? Wait, is this part of Don't You Call Me Baby? Oh, switch it up a little bit. Okay, that was very pleasant. Do you believe in love at first sight? Really want to be with you. It's better at the start than it's sweeter in the end. Oh, it's probably bitter at the start, sweeter at the end. So that was Get Together, and I really liked that one. It felt more like a song that wasn't just a remix. It feels like a song that could get remixed by someone else, that someone would use that in their updating songs. It feels like a song that could be used in Future Nostalgia or Renaissance or something of that nature. Yeah, I liked it. I think the song that it's inspired by is Don't You Want Me, Baby? Don't you want me? Oh. Don't You Want Me by the Human League. I just felt like it was giving that vibe, and maybe some of the filtering on her voice is similar to what they do in that song. It could be a completely different song. I could be entirely wrong. I was having trouble figuring out, and I think that's what it is. I'm not getting spoilers on that, but if you would like to correct me down in the comments below, you're more than welcome to. But I really enjoyed this one. It felt more original, at least. It is copying a song entirely. My bad. But again, I wasn't around in the 80s in the way that now they're copying songs that I was alive to hear. For example, I saw that Rita Ora is basically copying Praise You from Fatboy Slim. I know that Fatboy Slim is at least on this one, but it's basically the same song, and I don't need to hear a girl singing it. I just don't. No. That song is classic as is, and it remains such. I feel like it's hard to be original these days, I know, but I think we can be a little more original than a song that is quite literally sampling. Not just even sampling, because sampling can definitely be original if you're making something unique out of it. But I feel like we should stop taking old production that already happened on another song and top lighting it. No. I'm gonna give Madonna a pass because it was 2005, and honestly, that's innovative at that time. But at this point where it's so easy to get the instrumentals from other songs and then just put your own lyrics on it, I don't know. That's a big diatribe for me, and I forgot that that could be relevant. But I do really like the song, and the song just seems like it's a love song. Like, let's get together. Do you believe in love at first sight? It might be an illusion, but I don't really care. Yeah, it's a little like lovey-dovey, but like in the entry-level stages. Like, you could be the one. Who knows? I don't. Again, I'm probably not going to analyze that many lyrics on here. This is more of a fun time. Honestly, I'm having fun so far. And I know it's only 2 tracks in, so we'll see how long we feel that way. But for now, it's all good. Track number 3 is Sorry. Ooh, slow and in French. Lo siento, that's Spanish. Oh, is she saying sorry in a bunch of different languages? Pick it up. I heard it all before. I like this production, it's fun. Oh, this is giving me a rush. I love it. Please don't say you're sorry. I can't take it anymore. You're not half the man you think you are. I don't want to hear, I don't want to know. Don't explain yourself because talk is cheap. There's more important things than hearing you speak. I made it so convenient. Gosh dang. Oh, that was an interesting place. Sorry, 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 sorry. So that was Sorry, and that was a really good bop. Like, sonically, I was just grooving the whole time. I feel like I could just dance the night away to that song. It was just groovy, and I feel like that's gonna make me feel good going throughout this project, is that the grooves just stay grooving, and we're having a lot of fun, and we're taking it back to a time that I wasn't around for. And do I miss that I wasn't around for that? In some ways. In other ways, I'm glad I wasn't around during Reagan. It's for the best. Lyrically, it's just saying, don't say you're sorry. I've heard it all before. I don't want to hear it anymore. And she does lay it out on the bridge. Those lyrics are especially more complex. I feel like most of the song is so easily translatable. It's just made in very simple vocabulary, and that's okay. Not every song has to be that deep. It doesn't. It's gonna be fun. And I know that based on my time with American Life and also with probably some stuff on Rebel Heart and Madam X, that she can be deep and lyrically complex if she would like to. But I feel like this album is more of a let's vibe. And probably also, since it was probably the album that came right after American Life, just getting herself back into favor in the public eye so that she can make more music. Also, is she making an album anytime soon? Because Madam X came out, I think, 2019. So that's been a minute. You gonna release something, girl, sometime soon? Anyway, I did enjoy the song. It's good. The lyrics aren't that deep, but if you are feeling you're not sorry, I don't want to hear it from you, it's probably the vibe. Track number 4 is Future Lovers. Ooh. Ooh, that's gonna hit the right part of my eardrum in headphones. Ooh, I don't know, it feels like I'm scratching or something.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna tell you?
Forget your problems.
Forget your problems, okay. What in the handstand is this?
Some have called it religion.
Some have called it religion. Oh, that drop is wonderful. That beat. I'm obsessed.
Would you like to try?
Would you like to try? There's no love like future love. Yeah, that beat. So that was Future Lovers, and that was a wonderful song. It felt like a precursor to Handstand from the new Miley Cyrus album and the Summer Vacation. It feels like the daytime version, because you could definitely play this at night in a club. I don't know. It feels lightweight and airy, like the daytime and bright sunshine, whereas the Handstand gets a little grungier, a little grittier as you're going into, a hot summer night. But the fact that we're doing this spoken word and then having some repeated stuff in the background, and it's just a vibey track, but it definitely is very danceable at the same time. It's probably a very underrated song. I can see it's so far the least played song, as in it has the least number of plays on here. Not in total, but like so far of the songs I listened to. It might be my favorite in terms of just like continuously having the vibes and the good vibes of it. There's a lot of them. I felt like it was deep saying there's no love like future love, and thinking about how the grass is always greener, or, if you're single and heartbroken, that eventually you will find the one for you, or the love that you're going to get in the future is always going to be better than the love that you used to have in the past. And I think that's at least an optimistic way to look at it, and a way I'm going to look at it for me. Sorry, I just looked up, and apparently Madonna is just dating someone right now. She's been married twice, and I think she had a partner, and she's had 6 kids at this point. So she's been in serious relationships, but I didn't think that she was fully married. I feel like she has left some of those engagements. Or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not going to speculate on Madonna's life. It's not really my business. But I think that message to me comes home if it's not just like, oh, there's no love like future love, but you've been happily married for 20 years. That message is a little less potent, because it doesn't really come from a place of authenticity and relatability for someone single hearing that. So I personally liked hearing it more, knowing that fact now. I think it's a song I will continue vibing with. It reminds me a little bit like how Adore You is on What's Your Pleasure from Jessie Ware. That song in particular just feels more of a vibe song than a big chorus, or I don't know. It gives not a single material. And I think sometimes that, in essence, can be really good in a dance track. Track number 5 is I Love New York. Oh, we're starting with some street noises. Is this from the city? Oh, the fact that you're turning this to a good dance beat? Vibes. Why does this feel like a Kelly Clarkson beat for some reason? I don't like cities. Girl, you're always in cities. Los Angeles is for people who sleep. Oh, why does it have a Bay rock tinge to it? Oh. Other places make me mad, other places always make me sad. Oh, glad, sad, mad. I felt that. I love New York. If you don't like my attitude, then you can F off. I agree. Just go to Texas. Get off my street. Get off my street. Oh, we're back to city noises again. Vibes. So that was I Love New York. And why do I keep loving each song more than the last? Maybe it's one of those albums that just like continuously you just enjoy more. But I don't know, I like this song more. It's just iconic. As someone who also grew up in the Midwest and then moved to New York, I live in upstate rather than actually the city. But she's from Michigan. Madonna's from Michigan? Don't ever say that nothing interesting comes in the Midwest. She's from Michigan. Madonna, the Madonna, is from like the Detroit suburbs. What? That's wild. Anyway, sorry, I just am from one state down. I'm from Indiana. I was born in Ohio. But yeah, wild to me that is the case. She's basically saying she loves New York. Honestly, Why didn't we play this one instead of Welcome to New York on my Statue of Liberty cruise? I get that Taylor Swift is more relevant in this current day and age, but maybe that's what they did before. I also just learned random parts about her biography in learning when she moved. She did move to New York after that. Are you saying that you don't like Chicago? Oh, you grew up near Chicago. Did y'all not ever travel there? Interesting. But you can roast LA all you want. You can also roast London. I think it was pretty, but the traffic is worse than New York City. The public transit's not as iconic as New York City. So I do love New York. Yeah, I can see myself living there at some point. But I don't know, this song is just iconic. Girl, she's not even from there. Get off my street. Girl, you didn't grow up there. You moved there like 20 years later. Interesting take. I guess that you've been around longer, and you probably at this point in your career have spent more time in New York than not in New York. However, some people were there a little bit before you. It nonetheless is an iconic song that I just want to vibe to. It's so groovy. Yeah, it's almost camp. Track number 6 is Let It Will Be. I don't think that's a sentence. Wait, this sounds familiar. Da, 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 da. What is that? Obsessed about fame? Living the American dream? Oh my god. Me trying to figure out that will drive me insane. Oh, switch it up entirely. I can tell you about the place I belong. Just let it be. I'm at the point of no return. Just let it be, and it will be. I think it's a combination of those two sentiments. Just watch me burn. I can tell you about success and fear and fame and all that now, because you've experienced it. So that is Let It Will Be. And I need to know what the da 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 da. What is that sampling? Please tell me. That's such a ingrained part of me. Where is that from? I cannot find it on the internet. I did learn a little bit what the song is about while trying to figure out what the sample was, because that sample is going to haunt me in the middle of the night until I find out. So please, 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 please comment down below and let me know what that sound is from. I really need to know. I think this song is a little more introspective than some of her previous songs on this album, given that she's talking about success and fame, and I think the general sentiment is to just step back after, 20 some years of being on this train and being like, it is what it is. I've paved the path I did. I've lived my life. And I think even as a non-celebrity, for myself and for you, or if you are a celebrity, even so, I feel like there's a point in your life, at some point, I don't know if I'm at that point yet, but there's a point in your life where you do have to look back and be like, I've made mistakes. I've done some good things. I've done some bad things. I've done some things that have helped people. I've done some things that have harmed people. And sometimes you can't beat yourself up about that. And there's times where you gotta stop celebrating also things as well. Just say, like, it is what it is. Let it be. It will be, because it has happened and there's not a ton you can do to change it. Not saying that you shouldn't reclaim certain things or try to repair damages of stuff, but in terms of what you did in 8th grade that embarrassed you in front of the whole class, we can move on from that, for me personally. And I'm sure at her age, in 2005 even, that there's stuff that she did in not only school, but in her first decade of her career, or even the second decade of her career, where she was like, I don't really know if I liked it that much. I know even with Taylor Swift, how she was like, I didn't like how I was posing with all my friends all the time and accidentally creating this anxiety and jealousy among teenage girls who I was really not trying to harm. There are moments that we cause that indirectly and often unintentionally harm other people. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be careful and try to avoid causing that harm. But everyone causes an impact on other people, whether positive or negative in some way. And while we can try to maximize the positives and minimize the negatives, it's definitely something that also you just have to sit back and be like, you know, I cannot hate myself for harm I've unintentionally caused if I'm also doing my best to minimize that and maximize the good. Obviously, we learn, we make mistakes, but we do try to grow from them. And there's certain times where you have to just move on. I like this song. It does break the chain of my new favorite song happening right after each. This is not as good as I Love New York, in my opinion. But I think I'll still listen to it a bunch. But while I was snooping for lyrics, I did hear that the rest of the album might be a little more introspective, that this could launch us into that. So I'm intrigued to see how that turns in terms of the lyrical content, lyrical complexity, or just the themes. Track number 7 is Forbidden Love. Just one kiss on my lips is all it took. Is Daft Punk on this? Is this Daft Punk or just someone using a vocoder? We sealed our destiny forever. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's a countdown. So that was Forbidden Love, and I think it's about forbidden love. I don't really know exactly. I didn't hear much in the verses about why it's forbidden. Is it queer? Is it Romeo and Juliet? What is going on? Why is it forbidden love? Is it something toxic or something I really can't speak about without doing a content warning? I have no idea. So I will probably look that up later. But yeah, it was a vibey type song. I will say with Let It Will Be and Forbidden Love, they haven't been as strong of songs that I'm like, oh, this is catchy, or this is a song I deeply want to listen to on its own. I still think it's a fine song. I'm not going to skip it when I'm listening to the album, but it's making me think, what if I put this album on in the background and just wanted like an upbeat dance moment while I'm doing other things? I can definitely see myself do that. I'm probably, while working from home tomorrow, going to listen to this album again as my time listening to it in headphones. And I can see that it's going to do well and probably also at the same time not totally distract me from my work, which is probably good for my place of employment. However, it does mean that I don't focus as much on the lyrics. And I don't think this album, again, is one where I really need to focus on the lyrics. And again, that's okay. I feel like a lot of albums that are dance vibes, you don't need to necessarily focus on the lyrics. I feel like with some songs on Midnights, I don't need to focus on the lyrics. I don't have to focus on the lyrics on this one. I don't necessarily have to focus on the lyrics on All of Renaissance. I think there's some songs that are really good on all 3 of these projects that I think are worth my attention at some points, but not all the time is it needed. Track number 8 is Jump. Ooh. Feels sunshiny. Oh, there's the bass. There's only so much you can learn in one place. I haven't got much time to waste. I'm not afraid of what I'll face, but I'm afraid to stay. I'll work till I find a place of my own. Get ready to jump. We learned our lesson from the start, my sisters and me. The more that you wait, the more time that you waste. Don't ever look back. So that was Jump, and that might be one of my favorites so far. I really like this song. Sonically, it doesn't feel 80s to me. It feels early 2000s. Like, tell me that this doesn't sound like a Radio Disney song, or that Hilary Duff would have sang it. Or Jump 5. Do y'all remember Jump 5? I know that might be a blast from the past. I need to listen to some of their songs again, because I remember them being big vibes for me. I really liked them on my CDs that were the Radio Disney jams. I know that I had 3 different CDs of them. And there was an Ultimate one, and then I want to say it's either 4 and 6 or 5 and 6. I don't really quite remember, but I remember some really iconic songs on there. Aaron Carter was on there, rest in peace. I remember Hilary Duff definitely on there. She would always get like the track 1 because she was like the girl at that time. What else was on there? I feel like the That's a Raven theme was on one of them. And the Hamster Dance was also on it. Gosh, that's so old. But no, this feels like a song that they would have made Hilary Duff or maybe tried to make Miley sing it. I don't think it would have worked well with her voice in particular because Miley's voice deserves to shine more, and this mutes the voice a little bit and muffles it a little bit, and most artists sound amazing in muffled vocals. Miley, I feel like she is someone who you want to hear every part of her voice, so I feel like muffling her voice, I don't think we've gotten muffled vocals from her much, and for the best. That doesn't really suit her style. But I love this song. It feels right from my childhood, and it suits the vibes of also my childhood, but also now in a very perfect way. It feels like a song I was meant to hear right now. Just because I am the type of person to dive into the unknown, I'm not afraid of it. And I understand when it's time to leave a place. And I know soon I'm going to be leaving here at the end of my fellowship. And I don't know. You guys haven't heard where I'm going to next. I'll say it in this video now, and I'll probably announce it at some other point. But if you made it this far, you're a loyal subscriber. At least you got me a decent amount of watch time for this one time. So I do appreciate you for that. But yeah, I'm going to be going to Germany soon. I have a year-long fellowship there, but it's completely different than being in Indianapolis or New York. It's a totally different country. It's a totally different experience. I'm learning a language for it. It's something that's really cool and something that's really exciting. And should there be a lot of fear associated with it? There could be, but I don't look back. And the more that I wait, the more time that I waste. And I'm not looking to waste any time. I'm looking to dive into the unknown. I know that when COVID canceled my study abroad plans, I took the semester off and went to Louisiana, which I'd never been to before. I stayed with a family and helped with their art and nature festival. It was a lot of fun. Highly recommend that you take some sort of spontaneous adventure like that if you're able to. Yeah, I want to do that more frequently. I want to have experiences that I don't fully know what's going to happen. But generally speaking, I should be fine. I have a good head on my shoulders. I have a good sense of direction in the way of like, I know what I do want to do and what I don't want to do. And sometimes I'm more open to some things and sometimes I don't want to be open to things. And I recognize that both are valid. And so I'm very excited about that. But this song just feels like a get ready. Let's see what's happening next. And I think that's a really motivational song for me in particular. And it takes me back to childhood. And I remember singing Gotta Go My Own Way from the High School Musical 2 soundtrack and thinking, got to move on and be who I am. Saying I don't belong here and wanting to move somewhere else. And the fact that I did end up moving somewhere else, and then I'm going to move somewhere else again. Yeah, no, I guess I was prophetic at that time. Call me an oracle. All of that long-witted personal anecdote set to say that I really vibe with the song, and I think it came at the perfect time for it to enter my life. Track number 9 is How High. That's a really clever thing. You say jump, I say how high. I love that. I wonder if that's going to be connected in the lyrical content as well. It's getting synthy. It's getting 80s again. How high are the stakes? I spent my whole life wanting to be talked about. Mood. Just see my name in life. So we're getting to fame. I guess I deserve it. How much fortune can you make? Oh. They're never very nice when they mention my name. Nothing lasts forever. I feel some similar structures to American Life. Does this get any better? Yikes. So that was How High and Dance Bop vibes. Yeah. I don't know, that's just like a dance floor anthem. I like that one. It just has a good solid groove to it. Nothing unhinged, but nothing bad about it. Lyrically, the song is more about fame. I feel like it's a little bit of a successor to American Life, just chronologically speaking. I don't think it's anything super different, except for the living the American dream and seeing how people are disadvantaged. I guess that's a common thread in both of them. Because she's saying here, does this get any better? Girl, you've been at this for over 20 years now. And honestly, there's not a ton of artists that have been in the game for that long and have been that successful and well known throughout that time. Yeah, I would say that some people retire from music, or, you know, they have like their big hits. And sure, Madam X, for example, is not as well known as like A Virgin or Material Girl or any of those songs. But if Madonna's on a song, we know about it still. So I would say that she's still definitely well known. She's still definitely a household name. Whereas some people from the 80s or the 90s or even like last year, we don't really know that much. So having that longevity is something that's really cool. And I know that she's questioning it here. I don't know how she was public opinion wise in 2005. I was like 6. So I wasn't really paying attention to Madonna's life in celebrity status. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have access to the internet. Girl, who is she? But she's asking the questions of, will it matter when I'm gone? Does this dealing with public opinion get any better? Does it affect others? Does it matter that it affects others because of this competitive, race for clout or whatever it was then? I guess it was still clout, but we just didn't call it clout. Yeah, this race for status and celebrity and fame and public opinion and commercial success and all of that. Does it matter if others get left behind or stomped on if you are successful? Yeah, so I think she's still thinking about it. I feel like she is very self-aware in some capacities. I feel like there's certain things, and I don't remember what song. There's a song of Madam X that felt very unself-aware at the time, but I also might not have just been as self-aware at that time. So I might have just had a different opinion because it was like, I listened to it close to when it came out, I think during 2019. Yeah, so I don't remember that album much at all. So I would have to definitely check out and see if it's changed at all. But in terms of this song, I feel for her. I was about to say I relate to her struggles, but I can't relate to someone who's 20 years, 30 years, 20-ish, 25-ish at this time. But now, more than that, obviously, because it's been nearly 20 years since this album came out. So, yeah, no, I do like this song, and I think she has some important messaging in it. And I think it's cool that she's still thinking socio-politically and about public opinion and these topics that are social issues for her that have been very relevant for her and that she even talked about in American Life. But she is talking about that even in a song that is otherwise very fun and light in terms of the production. Just because your song has heavy themes doesn't mean the production has to be heavy. And just because a song is fun to dance to doesn't mean it doesn't have important messaging. You can have both. It's fun. Track number 10 is Isaac. Who is he? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, Isaac. Oh, we're bringing that violin back? Okay. Are we just getting this man's voice instead of Madonna? Or was that filtered and that was actually Madonna? I have no clue. I think it was a hidden feature. Will you sacrifice your comfort, make a way into a foreign land? And you just call your name. Will you ever be the same? Oh, he came back. Remember, never forget. Even though your spirit's broken. Ooh. Ooh. I like all these percussive hits right here. Oh, I feel like we're building something. Oh, we're slow again. Oh? Oh, we brought it back.
Was open. And it's the sun in the sky and the angels.
Oh, that sounds like the same
How the
voice.
city know that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. I didn't hear a single other word you said. So that was Isaac, and I don't know if Isaac is the vocalist that wasn't Madonna, or if she's speaking to some Isaac. I have no idea. But seems like someone's entering a foreign land. Sound a little familiar at this point. And wondering if I'll ever be the same. Who knows? I guess you'll be able to tell if I'm making videos in Germany or past then. And I will definitely be able to tell, hopefully, or my friends will. So, yeah. That's pretty much what I got from it. I thought it was a cool kind of influence song. It gave a little bit of Daft Punk energy with the really long song on Random Access Memories. I don't listen to Daft Punk all that much, but just the vibe of having some male speaker come in and maybe having a couple vocals on it and then turning into a dance number at some points. Yeah, it's a vibe. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite on here, but I do praise it for its innovation, and it's probably not going to be my least favorite. I think because it stands out and I remember it, and also the addition to it in the chorus and the post-chorus of it, it got catchy over time. I would love to know what those words mean, and I'll probably look up the lyrics and the meanings behind everything soon enough and who it is. But please feel to enlighten me down in the comments below. That will also help me appreciate the song more. Track number 11 is Push. Oh, okay. Slow, but definitely in a groove. Oh, Twinkle Twinkle. You push me when it's difficult to smile. You push me, only you, no one else. Every race I win, every mood I'm in. Every move I take, every step I'll take, I'll be watching you. Oh, pitch down vocals in 2005? Or is this a totally different vocalist? I have no idea. So that was Push, and that was like a 2000 nostalgic. That feels like the sound that Mood Ring from Lorde is trying to emulate. Like Torn from, oh my gosh, I don't remember her name fully. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. But the song from the 2000s, Torn. The song was fun in the Sonics. Lyrically, I cannot tell if I either really like it or I really don't. And the reason why is I can't tell if I'm going to relate to it in the fact of like, you are your biggest cheerleader and you are pushing yourself to do your best and to keep going. Or is it like the root of like trauma and the reason why you have anxiety? Or is it also just talking to your anxiety? I owe it all to you, my productive anxiety that has made me always perpetually do way too much and give me gifted and talented vibes. Yeah, I mean, I could see it that I owe it all to you. It's just the fact that it's like the motivation to do anything. It's really my productive anxiety that generally has gone against my depression to make it so I have motivation. I also noticed when she said, you push me when I stumble and I fall. Well, is it pushing you to get back up, or is it the one who pushed you and that made you stumble and fall? So you can be pushed into negative lights. I don't know if it's that nuanced or I'm just overthinking it. I could definitely be doing that. I am pushed to do that sometimes. But yeah, I haven't figured out whether I'm going to relate to it in a positive way of like, I love myself. Because there's not really many people in my life that I feel like push me to continue doing things. I have a support system, don't get me wrong, but I'm surrounded by people who are always like, you do a lot. You are always very productive. So I don't really need to get pushed to do things. I normally just do them and I'm normally the person who does them and helps encourage other people to do that. So I don't relate to the song in that way, but if I was talking to myself, and I do have some songs where I relate to myself, even if the song wasn't designed for that. Me and my husband from Mitski, I relate that to myself. I am me, and also I am my husband, because I am stuck with me in this lifetime. So we don't know if we're going to relate to this in a fun mentally ill way, a bad mentally ill way, a fun, uplifting, helping yourself do things way, or relating it to an external force that's pushing you and has maybe given you some trauma that you carried with you for your whole life. So you'll see when I post my favorites, probably what one of the reasons that may have won out would be. Last but potentially not least, track number 12, the last track on this album, Like It or Not. I don't know. Again, with Push, I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. Let's see if I'll like this song or not. Why could this give it a little jazzy moment? Girl, what? Celebrate me for who I am, baby. Your names will never hurt. All of my fruit is yours to take. Ooh. This is who I am. You can like it or not. Period. Whether they were bad or good, it's strictly up to you. Life is a paradox. Don't let the fruit rot under the vine. I'm never gonna stop. You can like it or not. Better the devil that you know. Your love for me will grow. Oh, I didn't realize I got to this acoustic guitar feeling. The end. Okay. So that was Like It or Not. Bop. You're gonna end on a bop. Okay, yeah, no, I like this song a lot. Yeah, this might be one of my favorites actually. I don't know. It was like dreamy, and me realizing that kind of came out of probably a guitar, I think. I think it was just like an acoustic guitar somehow. Just put into some good synths. Those synths were good. The guitar was good. Yeah, no. I like the message of it. You can like me or leave me. I'm never gonna stop. Yeah, and the biblical metaphor. I don't know all biblical metaphors, but I understand like the root of sin and all that. And it's better the devil that you know than the one that you don't. Using those expressions are definitely commonplace in American society, so I understood it from that. But I think this kind of goes back to the it is what it is of the let it will be, that notion of just let it be. It is what it is. You are just gonna move on. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. You're gonna live with it. And honestly, valid, very feminist. I like it personally for my bad chick era. I think it's also just, it's dreamy and it's upbeat, but it doesn't have the same vibes as many of the other songs on here. I don't know. I feel like I'm captivated with it. I could listen to it in the background, but I can definitely listen to it in the foreground too. So yeah, I really like that we ended on a song that is memorable. It always pains me when the last song of the album is kind of boring or just exists, and I just have to move on very quickly and move into the conclusive parts of it rather than talking much about the song because it really didn't do much. This one did a lot in that it was very enjoyable. I like that it's kind of bringing back those Fame ideas and saying, hey, I know that you're going to talk. You can like me or not. You can love me or you can leave me. I don't really care at this point. But with that said, we have finished this album and I had a great time with this. I have energy. I didn't have to spray my energy spray once during this video, even though it is nighttime and I should go to bed rather soon. But I really enjoyed this. This was a nice trip, and I'm glad I got into this album at the time I did, specifically for the songs like Jump and Isaac. These things about traveling and moving somewhere new. And also, I Love New York, happening when I started really liking New York City personally. I feel like when I react to albums in particular, I think there's times where I waited for some reason and then I just get it at the time that I'm supposed to have heard it. I felt that way with Sling as well from Clairo. Not that I've done a lot of replaying on it, but for me, it definitely was something I needed to hear. Someone who was roughly my age at the time that she wrote it, And she's talking about, I don't know what life is going to be like. And it's all up in the air. And it was all up in the air for me then. And it's still to some degree up in the air because I don't know what I'm doing after my time abroad. But just that excitement. I feel like this album brings excitement, but it also deals with political things. And I think that's where I'm at right now in terms of my music. I love it when it has some deeper messages, but I also just want to bop sometimes. The world can be frustrating. Let's just get into it. But I like a little bit of being a little self-aware at the same time of grooving. I would actually say my favorite genre of music is deceptively upbeat songs where it's upbeat, but we're not happy. We think we might be happy, but we're not. And so I think this album does that very well. There's also some happy songs on here. I feel like there's just a lot of a bit of everything. And what's not to love? I think it was a good pop release. And obviously I wasn't going to be able to celebrate it much at the time when it came out. But I'm glad that my little foray with American Life has led to here. And hopefully I can react to more music videos as well as albums from her. Let me know more of what you want to see from her, as well as any other artist. But especially I'm rather interested in diving more into one of pop's biggest legends, the queen of pop herself. I would love to see really more of what she's done, and I really haven't done it all that much. So I'd like to change that personally. Other notes about this album is I like that Hung Up was really the main one that had a big sample. I was worried that it was going to be all of them had giant well-known samples, that I was not going to be able to focus on the project itself. It is a little disheartening to see that Hung Up is the one that is the most popular. I get it, it has the popular sample in it. It was probably the single that came out with the album, so it's the one people know the best. But I do think that a lot of these other songs deserve a little more attention, so give them your attention. If there are some big well-known samples in the rest of these other songs, besides Let It Will Be, I know there's something in that violin. Please tell me. You haven't told me yet, so tell me now. But the rest of them, if they do have big samples in them, I'm just not familiar with the work. I was not alive at the time that it's probably referencing. But I do actually like that a lot of these songs fit both in 80s and in the 2000s. And I think it's interesting because a lot of these sounds that are bringing back 80s stuff, she was active in the 80s. She was a force during that time. That was where a lot of her popular music came out during. So I think that's interesting to bring back like 80s revival from an 80s artist. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's like the pop equivalent of Travis Barker bringing back a lot of pop punk that was popular and kind of bringing it to the new age. But a little different in just that she's not going into other projects and doing that. But she is bringing back this vibe, which I don't think was very popular in the mainstream. I mean, I'm sure the album did well commercially because I think Madonna is just a very highly successful artist commercially. But I didn't lead to an 80s movement. I feel like that was very much 1989 in emotion to some degree that then led those inklings into the After Hours and Future Nostalgia later down the line. I think that's really when we got into this big nostalgia moment, and we're very much in nostalgia moments for 80s, 90s, 2000s. Some people are even trying to do 2010s. Fam, it has not happened that long ago at this point. Please wait. I'm not ready for the trap resurgence that will undoubtedly happen in 2028. And yes, if I do find out that that has happened, I will source this video. And if I've forgotten, please stay with me for those times and let me know when that happens. That has inspired me to now make a very unhinged, chaotic predictions video, and we'll see how much can come true. But back to Madonna, I do really like this project, and I'm glad that I really like it. I think this is my first time really appreciating a Madonna record if I've heard it. And so I'm glad that I get to bop around. It's time to dance more. I love dancing so much. With that said, here are some of my favorites. So the top tier other songs I love, the standouts ones we've been playing over and over again. Songs in the middle are songs I like. I'll add them to my playlist, but they might not be at the top of the top. And songs at the bottom, which is not really my thing. Doesn't mean they're a bad song. Doesn't mean they can't be your favorite song. Just means it's not for me, and that's okay. Madonna did not make the album for me. I was 6, but maybe she made it knowing how predictive she is about what future trends will be. Maybe she did make it for me to now enjoy in 2023 after all. If you like this video, please like it, comment down below, which I'd like to react to or do next on my channel. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be, and thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.
Get out of the dark and get into my heart. You gotta do your part for a brand new start. Don't it just feel right? Looking in my eyes, so till we see the light. Dance with me tonight. Think it's pretty.